Welcome back, everybody. You got Will and I Man here from the Block Runner, and today we're going to be revisiting the graph.
It's about time.
Before we get into it, the graph is such a big deal. It's hard to overstate how big of a deal it is. Let's just take a look at what's going on with the chart.
All right. Yeah, this is a pretty looking chart for
Yeah.
sure.
So it had an initial run up to around 80 cents, and then it dumped and hit like the low is like 23 cents. But since then, has been nothing but up.
I think around 20 cents is when we made our first video about it,
Yeah.
right? So if you're watching the channel back then, you got an excellent entry point. And I think we're gonna call it again here.
Yeah.
This is
Yes.
entry point number two. If you missed out on the first wave, we're kind of sounding the alarm bells here, dude. Like
Yeah.
you gotta pay attention to this one. It's too big, too
Yeah.
big to fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So this looks like it's forming that famous wedge that we like a lot, and we're predicting it's going to go up. Now, how far up? It's hard to say, but if you take a look at the graph here in terms of the market cap ranking, you'll see that it's number 41, and 41 gives you a 2.3 billion market cap. So let's take a look at what is in the top 10, just so we get some perspective as to what's actually happening here.
How
So,
come top 10? Is that your ballpark prediction where we're headed or what?
oh, for sure. There's no question. And here's why. So if you look at the top 10, you have Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are obvious, right? They're not going to go anywhere
Mhm.
ever, right?
Debatable, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm making the claim they're not going away ever. So
Right.
that's my stance. I mean, obviously I could be wrong, but that's where I'm making my bet. So then you have Binance Coin. Binance is huge just because they have such a huge following, right? They're from China and they have
A track
CZ.
record of dominance, basically.
And not only that, a track record of innovation. I mean, when we first jumped into
Uh,
crypto, it was Binance that we were using to trade,
yeah,
and it had the best user interface, dude.
yeah, but is that innovation
I
or is
mean,
it
yeah, dude.
just like polish? They have like good
Well, yeah,
polish.
that's a better word actually. It's polish.
Yeah, they have great polish to their product. Like innovation though, clearly like Binance Smart Chain is not the innovation hub of
For
block.
sure.
That's Ethereum. But
Yeah,
I know what you're saying. I'm
yeah,
just
the correct word was polished, just because I mean you could swap tokens left and right without breaking a sweat, and everything kept working every single time, and it was great.
yeah, that's true.
Back in 2016, 2017, it was fantastic. So
You're right. I miss those days, dude.
yeah, yeah,
They were great.
and those days were the days before Tether, right? So there wasn't a stable coin at that time. But then you have Tether, number 4 at $36 billion market cap. So these are coins that I don't think should be up there in the top 10, just because there's more useful tokens out there that should be in the top 10. So then you have Cardano, right? They're about to drop their smart contract platform as well after 4 years of development, which is huge. But it's hard to really say that it's worth $35 billion. And just a few weeks ago, it was $40 billion. And then we have Polkadot, Uniswap, Chainlink, and then XRP is another one that shouldn't be there. Polkadot, Uniswap, Chainlink, obvious top 10. And the last one was Litecoin. That's debatable. I mean, if you think silver has like a purpose in the large macroscopic view of financial systems, then Litecoin has its place. But hard to say that it should be top 10, right?
It depends. Like if Bitcoin continues on its trajectory, at some point, yeah, Litecoin has to reclaim its position as like
The silver?
the ugly stepchild asset to yeah, the silver, the not as sexy asset.
Yeah.
I don't see a reason why that can't persist. Like I'm surprised the narrative is like falling off a cliff so hard. Maybe Charlie Lee just isn't doing his
His
marketing shill.
yeah.
He hasn't deployed his shill army like the Litecoin lizards. I don't know what you call them, but
Yeah, Litecoin
where they
lizards.
at, dude? Yeah, where they at, dude? Where the Litecoin boys at? But
Yeah.
maybe at some point they'll come back. But yeah, you're right. As far as like foundational actual tech, I wouldn't put Litecoin in the top 10.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
speculative value to it, it could. Yeah, why
It
not?
could be, yeah, for sure, for sure. And so this just gives you some perspective of what's in the top 10. If we have like half the tokens in the top 10 that are not as useful as the other half, then there's some room for growth. Where's the graph? At number 41.
Way down there, dude.
It's
I
way
wouldn't
down there.
necessarily call it in the trenches, but like, yeah. So tell me why you're so bullish about this thing, dude. Like, what is it about it? I mean, we've made a couple videos. From my perspective, like I understand it's value from a tech standpoint, and like it's if you follow us over the last couple of months, like that's like our big thing is identifying foundational tooling for the blockchain space, right? Like something that every developer who wants to build a DApp in the future will have to interact with or integrate with in
Yeah.
order for them to do that. So the graph is definitely one of those. The only thing that I struggle to find is the speculative value with the ecosystem itself. Like, how do you be as like a retail normie like myself? How do I get involved? How do I make that easy decision to profit by participating in the ecosystem? You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
as intuitive to
Yeah,
understand.
it's definitely not. I mean, this is a tool for developers, and if you understand the struggle that a developer has, like identify the problems, you know that the graph is the solution.
Yeah,
And it's not easy for the just like the average speculator to look at the graph and be like, "Oh, this is a for sure top 10." That's why it's, that's why we're talking about it, because we know that it's a huge problem that the graph is solving. And so the question is, why are we so bullish on it?
mhm.
Well, a couple of tweets actually. So if you go look at the Graph's Twitter account, the one of the tweets that they just retweeted, it says curation is around the corner. Soon as curation and Graph protocol goes fully live, anyone is welcome to become a curator. So since the mainnet launch in December, the Graph has been working towards completely decentralizing the Graph protocol. And if you don't know what the graph protocol does, it essentially indexes data from the blockchain so that any developer can make sense out of that data.
Yeah,
So what does indexing mean? So when you open up a book and one of the first pages you see is the index, right?
mm-hmm.
It tells you like in a broad form like what is the content within this book. That
Mm-hmm.
is what indexing does. Instead of downloading the entire blockchain and having this system go through the data through the entire blockchain to find information, well, you have indexers that do that for you. If you need specific data within a blockchain, you go to the indexers, and as a developer, you would query for that data. You would ask for that data via API calls. And so this solves obviously a huge problem for the developers. They don't have to download the entire blockchain and then mine that data by themselves. They have a protocol, a system, a network to do this for them. And so why is this part such a big deal? The fact that we have a curator not even launched yet?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the curator part, which anyone can participate, is you have to look at what developers develop for the graph for a given project. So that's a lot of words to say. There needs to be some sort of way to determine the quality of the data that you're querying. So let's say you have a blockchain and you have a bunch of developers making subgraphs so that the other developers can query that data to collect, to collect that information to make sense out of it. All subgraphs are not created equal. There's some shitty developers and there's some good developers. There's developers that make very efficient code and there's not efficient code. So a curator looks at these different subgraphs and they select the one that has the best efficiency, the highest quality code, and all that stuff. So that's what curators do. So why is this important? Is the graph is on its way to complete decentralization. And that's why I feel like if they haven't even, they're on their way, then from a speculative standpoint, if you understand the problem, then a speculator would see that there's an opportunity. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's the main kind of purpose of this video.
Yeah, that and we have evidence now. There's another tweet we can look at that there's adoption evidence right
Oh
here.
yeah.
You know, over the last few months, I mean, this protocol has only been live for 3 months now, I think, since December, and every
Mm-hmm.
month is consecutively seeing growth, which is what you want to see from a new protocol. You know, correlated to like early days of like a Uniswap. You know, whenever Uniswap first entered the market, it was largely an unproven model for as a swapping protocol. I mean, it sounded promising, but nobody really knew if it was going to work, if people would adopt it, if people would want to provide liquidity for it. So what you need is some actual data to support that trajectory. So for me, this is a good start. This is everything I wanted to see out of the graph for its first 3 months. You know, it has a very active community. You just go down this Twitter feed, you'll see tons of like town hall events where they actually virtually meet. Hundreds of people are showing up to these events. They're discussing amongst their community
Mm-hmm.
how to make this better. This is what you want to see out of like some kind of foundational piece of tech. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And it's sort of a required interactivity from the community if this is completely to be decentralized.
So
And
very promising shit.
and we're seeing it. So let's go through some of the tabs here. I have everything sort of out of order. All the links will be in
Yeah,
the description, and there's a couple of tools to understand. Now, you had the question is like from a speculative standpoint, like as a speculator, how can you participate within the network and profit off of it? And so
yeah,
there's
like I was saying, it's not as intuitive as say like I want to become a liquidity provider. It's a lot more easy to understand. Like I stake my money, I get X reward, and the interface is really not that difficult to understand.
yeah,
Each yield farming protocol kind of mirrors each other. They look the same. So that was kind of the fuel for the mania that we've been seeing over the last year. It's intuitive. It's easy to understand. I know I can make money, therefore it blows up.
yeah,
So that's the angle that's missing, I think, for this ecosystem. Like, this isn't really DeFi. This is something else.
yeah,
So, but how do I participate? How do I know how to participate? So,
yeah. You're right.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you're saying that this is not DeFi, and you're correct. You are, if you participate in the Graphs network, you're participating in the decentralization of it, and you can earn the graph by participating, right? And one of the ways you participate is become a delegator. So I guess the main question is, how do I maximize my delegation returns? And so we have two links here that begin to tell you how to do that. So there's GraphScan.io, and then the other one is the Graph.live. So here's what the Graph.live looks like. And so through this, you can kind of see this indexer is taking a 97% fee cut and only issuing out 109,000 delegation rewards. And so that's not a lot. So if you filter or sort through indexer rewards, you can see where most of the rewards are being handed out, right? This particular indexer keeps 14%. Over 12 million GERTs have been issued to the community of delegators. So that's a lot. There's a handy calculator here, and we can kind of go through an example. So let's click on this guy. Let's copy this address in the address field. And then let's go to this calculator, and let's say we had 20,000 GERTs, right? That's a lot of money, by the way. So this is
$20,000, isn't it?
well, it says the GERT reward calculator will determine your estimated monthly GERT rewards. Enter the amount of GERT that you want to delegate. So I'm assuming this is 20,000 GERT.
Okay, that's weird. It has a dollar sign there, but okay.
Yeah. So, and then add the address to the indexer that you want to delegate to. So that address came from this guy who is issuing roughly 12 million GERTs. And let's see what the rewards are going to calculate to.
Ooh, baby. Let's see the money. See, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So here we
All
go. You'll be earning 198 GERTs on a monthly basis, which is roughly 12% APY. And that's about $379 at today's rate.
That's juicy, dude.
Yeah.
That's not bad. You're not going to find a bank anywhere in TradFi that's going to give you those kind of rates. I mean,
and most importantly, I mean, if you really value the GERT, you're just mining more GERT, right?
Yeah, mining your desired crypto, and you're helping support the ecosystem.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Now you have an incentive to participate in the governance and whatnot, and actually be a true crypto god.
Yeah.
Like actually be in the space, not just speculating in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like if you've been watching our previous videos on Lidentree and whatnot, and like the whole decentralized identity future aspect to all this, it's important to establish yourself as an ecosystem participant in a lot of these things, because that's only going to leverage your on-chain reputation in the future.
Exactly.
Like, look, I was a GERT contributor in the beginning. Like, how are you not going to give me a loan?
Yeah. That's right.
How could you not trust me, dude?
Yeah,
I was helping GERT index at the very beginning.
Right.
So these things will all come into play eventually.
I totally agree. And here's another reason why I'm bullish too. So the Graph, it says earlier this month, we announced a list of layer 1 blockchains that the Graph community is working on supporting. Those chains include Polkadot, Near, Solana, and Celo. And today we're adding another layer 1 chain to the group, Phantom. So the Graph has not only penetrated the Ethereum blockchain, which is the biggest blockchain out there, right? We saw the list, right? Ethereum's number 2, right?
Mhm.
And now they're onboarding other layer 1 chains. So now other layer 1 developers on different blockchains are using the graph to begin that process of allowing their blockchain to be queryable through the subgraphs.
Again, more evidence of that you want to see of adoption. Not this is a different kind of adoption we're used to. It's not like user adoption. This is developer adoption, which
That's
is
right.
not as sexy.
That's right.
It's not as sexy to the retail investor, but as soon as it catches on, I don't know what narrative needs to emerge for like the retail investor to really FOMO into this thing. But I don't think it's far away. More than likely, it's just going to be like maybe even like institutional action, like loading up the bags, and like that movement might be enough to just cause some FOMO, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And speaking of FOMO, I mean, even their blog post is identifying Andre Cronje, right?
Mm-hmm.
The DeFi god, as Iman calls him.
Yeah, DeFi Jesus.
Yeah. It says, Andre says, good tech is easy to integrate. This speaks more to the quality of the graph protocol than anything else. Thanks for making it easy. So they're basically saying that the graph is easy to use by developers. And we just, said that developers have a problem and the graph is the solution. So this is just more fuel to the fire that, you could easily see the graph making it its way to the top 10 at some point.
Yeah, and just from a technical analysis perspective, we're in a heat of a bull market, and this is one of the most bullish charting patterns you could identify in a bull market. So, and there's plenty of fundamental backing to kind of like predict that this thing has multiple legs ahead of it. Hence, video today.
Yeah,
like that's about all I could say. You
yeah.
know? Take a look at this graph. Insert freaking Nickelback meme. Like, look at this graph, and then just make your choice.
Yeah.
This is a big one, man.
Yeah, and this is like on a different level because sometimes we talk about market caps like in the tens of millions to like 50 million. And this was 2 billion, and we're still bullish. Like this is different, right? This is like a pillar of the crypto sphere, requiring this tech to actually like be successful.
For sure.
That I think covers everything we want to talk about today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, and follow us on Twitter at the Block Runner and also MetaZone.io. Catch you on the other side.
All right. Peace.